Alright, if you've been following the channel for ever, for since the beginning, you know how much of an impact Knull has had on my channel. When I was first getting started, Knull was one of the original characters that I showcased, right? And I did some of the craziest things with this champion. I soloed every single 7.3 boss with this character. I did a full labyrinth path itemless with this champion, and that video really helped me progress my channel big time. So if I didn't have Knull, I don't know where I'd be right now, to be honest. So I am really grateful for this champion since he was one of the original characters that got my channel going. And I was checking my videos earlier and I noticed that it has been almost a full year since I have last posted a Knull video on this channel. And that is crazy, right? A character that used to be the main focus of this channel hasn't been showcased in a year. And it's almost Halloween time. Halloween is tomorrow, so I thought we'd celebrate by doing a fun Halloween rank up, and who better than Knull, the man who helped jumpstart my channel. Now, he wasn't the #1 person that helped jumpstart my channel. That actually might surprise you, so if you want to see who it is, sort by oldest on my channel and you'll see who got my channel started. And yeah, it'll surprise a lot of y'all, to be honest, but I want to make a video on that character pretty soon, and I think it's about time since that character's in a pretty interesting state, I feel like. But yeah, here is rank 3 Knull, Sig 40, and now let's showcase this man. This is just a preview. This isn't the full showcase of Knull because yeah, I don't want to give y'all too much gameplay until Halloween, where the showcase is gonna happen. But yeah, Knull, he carried my channel back then because he was so good damage wise, utility wise, and survivability wise. And in 2024, absolutely nothing has changed. He is still one of the strongest damage stealers in long fights. He is still incredibly sustainable, and he has great utility. This man still does an absolute ton. And one of the most unique things about this champion is the Living Abyss mechanic, where he can just straight up eat armor up buffs. And I'm pretty sure Knull is one of the only champions still, if not the only champion, that can just remove armor ups with no penalty. You know how there's nodes that will make the opponent gain power if their armor broken? Knull, he's not really like that since he can just eat the armor up and then apply the armor break. So yeah, this man has a lot of ways to bypass nodes that punish armor break, and he is always going to be useful for that reason, in my opinion, since there are a ton of ways to play around nodes that might mess up Knull. So yeah, this character is just honestly, I think he's borderline timeless, in my opinion, because the things that he does, I feel just cannot be replicated that well. And when it comes to armor break, I don't really see many champions doing what he does better. So yeah, this man is just incredibly good still. And plus, and you know, the armor up thing is massive, right? That's a huge part of this character's kit, but the power control is still so dang incredible and so useful, and it'll always be good, or it'll always be one of the best power controls in the game, especially for a cosmic character. That's not the cosmics, that's not the cosmic classes thing, right? Power control, they're not meant to do that, but he does it really, really well, and honestly does it better than some characters in the Mystic class, which is absolutely crazy. But that's just Knull for you. Knull is a character that has a lot of mechanics that extend beyond the cosmic class, while also having great cosmic abilities such as true accuracy and armor removal. And his armor removal is the best out there, since it really isn't an armor break or a nullify, it's just a straight up removal of the armor up. So yeah, this man is just, when I saw Knull come out for the first time, with the deep dive, I was this just feels absurd. This man feels absolutely crazy. And yeah, he lived up to the hype 100%. And now we have this node where whenever the opponent drops a special attack, they gain an armor up. And if they have an armor up, if you hit them, you get bled. But Knull can just heal from the bleed, and then after that, he just removes the armor up. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward fight. And then once corruption is on, the opponent just cannot gain armor ups. So they are just completely countered. And with the power control, there is less special attacks thrown as well. So he just hard counters like 4 things about this node just like that. Like, this man's kit is just so crazy good when they're like combined, because he has the armor up removal, he has the corruption which just blocks armor ups completely, even the passives, and like that's insane for me because even Medusa doesn't shut off armor up passives, right? She just shuts off armor up buffs with the armor shattered, but Knull's corruption takes off all the armor. So yeah, the corruption ability is obviously really good since it not only like inflicts like this passive that just blocks all armor, it also is his source of power control. So yeah, he's just, you know, I can talk about him all day like positively. Of course this character isn't perfect, right? Like you have to kind of pick and choose to get either your evade counter or your extra damage with the bleeds, but even that's just like a given for this character. Like imagine if this guy countered evade on every single hit, that would just be way too good. But yeah, the fight's done. He countered that node completely, took no damage from the bleed essentially, and just blocked out the armor ups, which is, you know, expected from this champion. Now we have this node where it's like an evade node. I think it's can't touch this, and it also has this node where like if you are rooted, after the root ends you gain this true strike. So the game plan here is to take advantage of the node, and so first we're going to build up our living abyss charges, and while we do that, any hit that builds up the abyss charges has true accuracy, so like we cannot be evaded or auto blocked, which is perfect. And yeah, that's what makes this fight really safe for him, because once we enter corruption, where you want to use light attacks which are like vulnerable to evade and all that, we'll have the true strike up from the node, so we are just chilling. And like if you combine nodes that are, you know, beneficial for the attacker, and if you pair them with Knull, then it's like pretty great results, to be honest. But yeah, here we dropped the SP1, and now we're gonna wait until we get corruption. Now we're just gonna like whiff some attacks to gain power because of the node. Now we're gonna get rooted. Now we have the true strike up, and now it's go time. So let's just do as much damage as we can. And look at the power control just doing its thing, man. Like he is not gaining any power at this point. Like he is gaining power, but it's just such a tiny amount that it honestly doesn't even feel like he is gaining that much power. So yeah, they dropped the SP2, a beautiful 44,000 crit, and this matchup is going to be over pretty dang soon. One more intercept into a combo, into the relic, and yeah, there we go, perfect fight. And to end this video, I thought I'd do a little showcase of him in Abyss of Legends. This is where he shines, right? And to prove that he shines here, I'm going to put on his favorite mastery setup, which is the recoil masteries. This champion was made for recoil masteries, right? Like he is the perfect recoils champion in my opinion, because he has 60% bleed and poison res, so he takes like no damage from them from the recoil masteries. Like the damage is so small that he just like out heals it, and it's essentially a permanent free healing. So yeah, he is one of the best recoil mastery characters in the game. And not only that, in like these longer fights, once you're like close to the end of the fight, you can cash in your living abyss charges and your armor breaks to gain a lot of lifesteal, and that lifesteal is massive. It can like heal them to full very easily. So this character is just one of the better sustainability champions. I know there's a lot of good ones these days, but I think he's still up there for sure. But yeah, now it's time to just go in and do as much damage as we can. And the cool part about Knull with like the corruption mechanic is if the opponent tries to gain an armor up while they are corrupted, it is automatically converted into an armor break. So like it is just free damage if they try to gain armor ups, which is obviously really good, right? Like that is great for these type of fights where armor ups are constantly being gained. So yeah, he is really good for like Iron Man Infinity War, who apparently is going to be a problem with this upcoming Spite meta in Battlegrounds. So I think I did the rank up at the right time. And yeah, I can't wait to see how Knull performs in Battlegrounds. I know that he was crushing it in the last Alliance War tactic with arcade games. So yeah, like the potential of this character is still really high. Like he still does a lot of things very well. And here I drop the SP2, and we kind of just like ignore the entire 15% phase. Like that right there is absolutely crazy. And yeah, that was 1 minute and 54 seconds for 2.6 million health. That is insane. That is absolutely absurd, and that is like one of the best fight times for those long fights that I've ever seen. So yeah, Knull in these type of long fights is insane. In short fights, he is still very, very good and has a lot of utility. And yeah, this man is just still incredible to this day, in my opinion at least, which might be biased, but I don't really care. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on 7-star Knull going to rank 3 finally, and yeah, that's about it for me.